Hello, parents. Welcome to the Masterful Parenting Podcast. I'm Anne Alvares, parent coach, school counselor, and mother of two. Do you sometimes struggle with your parenting role? Do you notice that sometimes you're repeating patterns that you learned in your own childhood? Maybe you are carrying childhood pain that has not been healed, and you notice that it is showing up in your parenting with your own children. Perhaps you yell or get frustrated easily. Maybe you are directing them or telling them what to do all the time, and you notice that your actions are affecting your relationship with your children. Well, parents, I totally understand this. I came from childhood pain and I learned how to be a relational parent with my children. And I can teach this to you as well. This podcast is all about learning how to heal the childhood pain that we are carrying so that we can foster healthy relationships with our kids. Join us every week for a new show, and we will dive into the healing and the fostering of healthy relationships with our children. Hello, parents. Welcome to the School of Humankind webinar on Empower Your Kids in Bullying. I'm so excited today to present this workshop to you, and I'm hoping that you will get a lot of information so that you can empower your kids if there's situations of bullying. All right, I'm going to start the PowerPoint. So let me just get the share screen ready. Okay, so it is here, and we'll do a slideshow. All right. So here we go. Empower our kids in bullying. This is a huge topic. Before we start, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Anne Alvarez. I'm a parent coach, a teacher, a school counselor for over 16 years, and the mother of two boys ages 24 and 14. My passion is to help parents break the cycle of their childhood and learn how to be a relational parent. So let's go on to the topic of bullying. Oh, and I'll just explain to you, this topic actually is very dear to my heart because I actually experienced bullying as a kid, and so that it wasn't handled the way I think it could be handled. So because I've had experience with bullying in my own childhood, and also my youngest son was bullied when he was in elementary school. So I have understanding of what it's like. And in addition, I've done a lot of counseling with students who've experienced bullying and also the bullies themselves. I've done some counseling with them as well. So I'm coming from a place of a lot of experience with this topic. Okay, so what is bullying? Bullying is force, coercion. It's teasing, but it's hurtful. It can be threatening. There could be abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse. It's when the child is trying to aggressively dominate or intimidate another child. And this is really key that the behavior is repeated. That is kind of an indication of bullying. So, sorry, I just put my screen on here. Okay, so and also there's an imbalance maybe of physical or social power. So it could be an older kid bullying a younger kid, or a bigger kid that is the same age, but physically he's like stronger, larger. And the intent is to hurt the person. Okay, so that's what bullying is. The intent is to hurt someone. Okay, and there's four types of bullying. There's physical bullying, which is kicking, hitting, slapping, punching, tripping, spitting, pushing, blocking, using your physical stance and going into somebody's personal boundary. That is physical bullying. And maybe making rude gestures with your hands, touching inappropriately, right? Unwanted or inappropriate ways of touching, or stealing someone's possessions, their lunch or their pencil. Okay. Okay, so that's physical bullying. Verbal bullying is the name calling, insulting, teasing, intimidation, like uh, I'm stronger than you, I'm faster than you, or you don't know what you're doing. Uh, any kind of like phobic or racist remarks, inappropriate sexual comments, like commenting on someone's body part, taunting, and also threatening to beat you up, right? Threatening to cause harm. Then there's social bullying. Now, I see this a lot in high school, especially with my girls. So this is can be a problem, right, with teenagers. But lying and spreading rumors about someone, leaving someone out on purpose, so isolating them from a social group, telling others not to be friends with someone, embarrassing someone in public, maybe taking a picture of them that's not flattering, or um, you know, uh, uh, commenting on their clothes, something like that. Damaging someone's social reputation. So a lot of this can happen when you spread rumors about a person, right? Or say, oh, someone so and so is dating so and so, and it's not true, or uh, um, so and so doesn't like you. I say that happens a lot in high school. So and so doesn't like you, right? So that's a form of social bullying. Okay. And then now this generation is experiencing bullying. So this is bullying that is happening online. And it could be in a video game, it could be on a social media site. Um, uh, it could be a posting about a student. There might be like text messages that are bullying, right? Somebody is saying bad things to you or threatening you by text or email, or video, taking video of you, and then posting it on social media and saying bad things about you, intimidating someone online, or using someone else's login. It's also a form of bullying. Deliberately excluding someone or blocking someone online when they're playing, like for a video game, you could be blocking someone from that game, and spreading nasty gossip or rumors online. Okay, so what are the 10 causes of bullying? So this is where this is from what is happening with the bully. Okay, so maybe the bully feels powerless. Maybe the bully's been bullied by others, is jealous, doesn't feel accepted, has a lack of empathy, maybe has never learned empathy, um, is seeking attention because they are not getting positive attention in their home life. They could experience a lot of arguing with their parents or in their home, and they don't feel like they are in control because they live in a very controlled environment, and controlling adults in their lives. Maybe bad behavior is rewarded, like, go and beat up that kid, show that you're strong. Who knows, right? If that's a messaging that might be coming from home. Or it's a child that cannot regulate their emotions. They feel this frustration, but they don't know how to appropriately deal with that, their anger, their frustration. Okay. So, why do people bully? People that bully are trying to exert control and power through their bullying actions. They feel powerless in their own lives. Like I gave the example that maybe their parents are very, very controlling, very rigid with them. So they feel like they have no say, no power. Maybe someone is bullying them. It could be like an older sibling is bullying them, or an adult or an uncle or somebody in their home life is exhibiting bullying controlling, bullying behavior, punishing. They don't know how to regulate their emotions. So maybe they have a lot of emotions, but they've never learned, they've never been taught how to calm themselves down, and how to express their emotions in healthy ways. And they also could have a lack of empathy or understanding from someone else's side or how that makes that person feel. And they could be seeking attention or they could be jealous of that person. All right. So these are all the reasons why a bully, a child or a teenager might bully someone else. Okay. So what do parents do? I'm just going to say, parents, I want you to understand the bully side. I think it's super important to understand the bully side because I think it's good for kids to understand the bully side, and I'll explain why. Okay, the first thing that you need, parents, is you need to have a very safe environment and open communication with your kids. So, what that means is you cannot be somebody that breaks down, cries, gets upset, gets angry. If your child is telling you a story, if your child is telling you what's on their mind, if we are dysregulated, if we are showing extreme emotion, getting worked up about things, then our children will not tell us. And the reason they won't tell us is because they don't want to upset us. And we're giving them the message we can't handle it. We're giving them the message that this is a big problem and I'm mad about it, right? And I have experienced that with my students, where they will not tell their parents and they tell me, I'm not going to tell my mom, I'm not going to tell my dad because they will fly off the handle. They will get upset. Right? And so we have to be aware that our emotions are stable and that we have a messaging ourselves that no matter what our child tells us, we can handle it. We can empower them. We can help them. All right. Because they're going to go to the person that can help them. And if we're upset, we can't help them. Okay. And we have to have open communication. That means we're always fostering this safety. We love you. We want to know what's going on in your life. And we don't have judgment about anything that they say. Okay. So open communication and a safe place to speak where the parent is calm, regulated, and is thinking about how do I help my child? How do we problem solve this? And the other thing, number two, and I do this a lot with my students when I'm school counseling, is we have to get our children to understand that the bullying behavior is not about them. Okay. And I tell that to my students a lot. I'm like, the bullying behavior is not about you. You do not have to feel bad about it. Okay, why do you feel bad? Did you do something wrong? This is this is how I talk to my students. Did you do something wrong? No, I didn't do anything wrong. Okay, so you didn't do anything wrong, but you feel bad. But who should feel bad? The person doing the wrong should feel bad. And that's the bully, not you, because it wasn't about you. You did nothing wrong. Okay, we have to have that kind of messaging with our kids so they understand, they do not internalize message when someone hurts them that they're bad, that they're ugly, or whatever the bully says about them, right? They don't internalize that messaging and adopt it as fact because it's not. And then once they understand that it's not about them, you can move to hurting people hurt others. You can move to that dialogue so that your child understands that this child that is bullying is having struggle, right, in their lives. And that's how we build empathy for the bully. We don't accept the bad behavior, but we come to from a place of understanding a bit better that behavior is a result of something going on with that kid, child. All right. Okay. And then we can do some problem solving. with your child. And I do this a lot with my students. I do problem solving. And when we do problem solving, um, I always ask the question, what do you think will make it better? Uh, are you comfortable speaking up to the bully? Because I could help you with the words, what to say. Are you comfortable telling the teacher if it's happening in school? Um, or talking to your parents about it? Do you want me to talk to the bully with you? I do really encourage that a lot, as a school counselor, and maybe that's when you can get your school involved because I just feel like we don't want we want our children to feel powerful in this situation, and when there's an adult that's assisting in the dialogue, it helps. Now, I'm not saying parents you should assist because it's probably going to embarrass your child and also the teenager and also the other parent of that bullying child probably won't like that. But if you have a school counselor, you have a teacher that's and it's happening at school, then by all means you can get support that way. All right. And then we're always teaching empowerment and not victimhood, right? Because even when someone treats us badly, we have power in the way we respond. We have power in the way that we don't let it get to us, affect us in a negative way, or make us feel bad about ourselves, about our self-esteem, or define us, right? Because it's not about us. That's why I think that's such an important dialogue to have is it's not about you. When someone does something bad, it's not about you. Okay, so those are the 4 tips, I would say, parents, 4 steps to helping your child feel empowered. Okay, and then I give words to parents because I know it's hard to like I wasn't brought up this way and I've learned how to have these powerful conversations with kids because of my work in the school system as a teacher and also as a school counselor. So I help parents with the words. Okay, what do I say to my child? Okay, so you can ask questions. The reason I like questions is because it opens dialogue, right? It's an exchange of ideas and it helps our children to problem solve, to get into thinking about it. And also, it validates their feelings, like if they're not comfortable or if they're comfortable with doing something, right? Instead of telling. This, I think, is much more powerful, much more effective. So, who should feel bad when someone does something wrong? Should you feel bad? Is it about you if you did nothing wrong? What can you say or do if it happens again? Again, we're empowering them, right? And if they say, I don't know, I'm too scared, then we have to listen to that. And we have to say, okay, I understand. Do you want to get an adult involved then? What would make you feel okay? Because I want you to go to school feeling safe, right? Or I want you walking home feeling safe. Should I be picking you up? That's kind of the dialogue. And then who do you feel comfortable telling? Like, because honey, I'm working all day and I'm not with you. So, but I want you to feel safe with an adult. Who's a safe adult that you can tell when I'm not with you? And what will make you feel better? Like maybe instead of walking uh, in the lunchroom yourself, you can go with a friend, right? Because now you have support. So, what would make you feel better about this situation? And then who do you feel safe with? So, maybe there's friends that you feel safe with. Maybe there's adults in school. It does happen at school, this bullying, or outside of school. Who do you feel safe with? Because that is your go to person when I'm not here. Okay, so those are the conversations you can have and the questions you can ask your child. All right, now how to deal with bullying on social media. Okay, this is a big mountain. Parents, I understand this is a mountain. Um, especially with teenagers. So we have to get information on what they're on. We need to know, are they on roadblocks? Are they talking on roadblocks? Are they Are they talking on uh, TikTok, or I don't know, whatever social media is out there? I'm not savvy with it all, but we need to ask them. Right? We need to find out what they're on, who they're talking to. Ask them, and we can do it in a very inquisitive way, not a um, in your face way. We could just say, "Hey, so who are you talking with? Oh, who are you playing with?" Right? And you can have parent controls on games. You can research that and figure out how do you put a cyber nanny, install it. You can limit the time on social media. I think it's really like, okay, I'm just going to say, I have a 14-year-old. He's on his device quite a bit. I don't limit. I'm a relational parent, but and I'll ask him, yeah, don't you think you've been on for a while now? Or I will say, we want to do this. So I'll get him out so he's not just doing social media stuff or like gaming. It's actually gaming is most of the thing. Like I personally feel if your child is well-rounded and does other activities, then you don't normally have to worry too much about their time online. But if they are online a lot and you're not home, then there is a danger, uh, because that's replacing you, right? Those who they're talking to is replacing you. We also have to teach our children about stranger danger. We cannot be giving out personal information. I remember, like at a young age, we told our youngest, no one knows your personal information, where you live, your name, use a fake name. Nobody knows our personal information. And so he learned that in elementary school, quite young. So we can teach our children that and explain to them why, because it's not safe. And then I had Dr. Michael Nutritelli. He's an expert at cyberbullying on my podcast, and he suggested to parents that they do these dinner talks, these dinner talk uh, tech dinner talks. I think it's something like that, where you get together for dinner and you ask your kids about, oh, teach me about the social media. What what's in? What do people post on there? What are you watching on YouTube these days? That sort of thing. Just so you can get into their world and know more about what they're doing. The more you know, the safer, the more you can protect them. If you don't know, you can't protect them. And if you're asking your kids to teach me how to get onto that, or what do you do it? Can you show me? Then they're going to feel like, oh, mom and dad want to know my world, right? Unless they're doing something bad, then they might not want to show you. And then you got to ask how come they don't want to show you, right? Um, so that's super important, is that you get into their world and know more about what they're doing online, because that way you can protect them. Okay. So what's really, really important is these two things: parent strength and your messaging. So you have to come from a place of showing parent strength. So you're not, I know it's really disturbing to know that your child is being bullied. I understand that. But we can't show that to our kids. We can't show that, well, it's the end of the world, or cry hysterically, or have a meltdown about it. We have to show strength. So we need to like calm ourselves down. Maybe we need to tell ourselves, like, now is not forever. This is just one stage that they're going through, one incident. Like, we all go through challenges in life, right? And maybe this is a bullying challenge in your child's life that they need to get through to get stronger. So we have to be strong ourselves so that we can handle it in a healthy way. Um, and it's crucial. It's really, really crucial to great parenting, is this parent strength. We also need to give a message of resilience and empowerment. So we need to say to our kids, okay, yeah, you were hurt. It wasn't right for that person to call you that name. It wasn't right for that person to exclude you from the game. But honey, we can handle this. You can handle this. I can help you with this, right? Like, oh, wow, like that's just a relief. Somebody's going to help me with my problem, right? Um, maybe we can problem solve. Let's brainstorm and problem solve what we can do about this, right? Remember, you define you. Nobody defines you. So if someone's being bad to you, it's not about you, right? We're giving that kind of message to our kids. And then anytime that they stand up to bullying, if it's from a friend, they're standing up for their friend or they're standing up for themselves, then we praise them for it. We say, wow, I'm so happy that you stood up for your classmate who wasn't being treated properly. I'm so happy that you felt the courage to tell that person not to do that, you know? So, so important because then they feel like they're empowered and that they can handle it, right? We want to give our kids a message that they can handle it even when we're not there and that we don't need to rescue them because they have it internally that they can. And if they don't feel internally that they can, then we can find trusted adults, safe adults that can help them with it, right? That's really, really important. Okay, and then we have to teach and model healthy relationships. I am so passionate about healthy relationships because I think a lot of us didn't grow up. Many of my friends did not grow up in healthy relationships in their home lives. And we've talked about this at length, how it's so important for us as parents to teach our kids what's a healthy relationship. So, what's a healthy relationship? Well, I make it really simple. I say there's three things to a healthy relationship. You need to feel seen, you need to feel heard, and you need to feel supported, right? Seen means that you're not ignored, right? So in your family, nobody's ignoring you, right? Feeling heard is that you can speak your opinion safely. No one's going to put down your ideas, right? And then feeling supported is when you have an idea, we try to make it happen. When you want to do something, we 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 do it, right? We find a way to make it happen, right? So that's basically healthy relationships. And you need all three in a family, and you need all three in any relationship, spouse, friends, in a family. Those three are important. If one is even missing, then it's not being healthy. Okay. And unhealthy relationships when you don't feel seen, you don't feel heard, and you don't feel supported. All right. And we can teach this to our kids. Like they should know this. I teach my students this actually so that they know, okay, in a friendship group, so and so ignored me. That's not healthy, right? I should be seen, not ignored, right? So then you can say, well, is that a good friendship, right? When someone ignores you, or you can say, you know that you're ignoring me. That's not a good friendship, right? So when our children know it, then they can teach it to their friends as well. They can speak it to their friends as well. And then it makes other people accountable to being healthy. Okay. So we can get help from our child's school, you know? And I'm in the school system and I do deal with bullying, and I'm happy to help. So it's okay to reach out to the counselor, to the teacher, to the vice principal, to the principal. It's okay, especially if it's repeated patterns of bullying and your child doesn't feel safe. Then I think it's our obligation to let the school know. I know, like when my youngest was bullied, and it was in elementary school, it was like he was young, maybe grade 2 or 3. There was a boy in the class that was very dysregulated, and he picked on my son. And we did go to the school and we said, this is what's been happening, right? And then he was in the class with this same kid the next year. And then we still had to say something. But, we empowered our child. We told him, say stop, uh, walk away from him. We gave him strategies, right? And if the teacher's not going to listen, then you have to take it in your own hands. Like I feel sad that sometimes the adults in the school don't listen to the kids, you know? Um, if there's any kind of like that kind of thing needs to be addressed by an adult. But sometimes, and if with my own son, he said he told the teacher and nothing happened. So then we have to empower our kids. So we empowered him. We said, okay, so like if he's punching you, you can punch him back. If he's trying to trip you, you can do the same, right? Like if an adult's not going to come and help, then you have to defend yourself. And it's okay to defend yourself, right? As adults, we'll defend ourselves if someone's attacking us, right? So I think in that case, we can tell our kids it's okay to defend yourself if you don't feel like an adult is going to listen. So, but hopefully adults will listen. Okay. And so school counselor, and then we can encourage our kid to speak to an adult. And maybe there's one adult that won't listen, but maybe there'll be another adult that will. So they could also try another adult and say, this is happening. A lot of times it happens uh, in the school ground, at recess and at lunch, and it's a supervision aide. A lot of times I've heard from my son that supervision aide doesn't really do anything. And so that's when we have to say, okay, well, then he or she needs strategies, right? Walk away. Don't hang out with that kid. Um, uh, you know, don't accept any bullying behavior. Report it right away. You know, those sorts of things. So we might have to directly tell our children if it's happening at a time where the teacher or um, the vice principal is not around or the principal is not around. Okay, so that's the school part. Okay. So when we do have powerful parenting, I talk a lot about powerful parenting because I think it's really, really important. We got to do our own inner work. Like maybe you were bullied, and so it really affects you to hear that your child was bullied. Honestly, I was bullied, so it did affect me to know that my son's being bullied. But um, because I know it's not about my child, it's about the other child and his struggles, then I taught that to my child. I taught that to him. I said, you know, honey, somebody's hurting you. It's because they're hurting. What do you think's going on in his life? And then he actually shared with me, yeah, I think he has a big brother that he said he beats him up. Oh, okay. So that's where that's coming from, right? And so then my youngest was like, he had empathy, he understood, but I still, you know, had got the message that, but you still don't let them do anything bad to you because that's not okay, right? And we have to monitor our own self-esteem. Are we feeling good? Are we feeling confident? Can we handle things? Can we handle challenges? Because when we can handle challenges, then we can help our kids handle challenges. And we got to make time for self-care because self-care fuels us and makes us feel good, better parents, makes us feel good about our lives and makes us feel good about parenting. And we got to replace those fearful thoughts with empowering thoughts. Like I always say, now is not forever. So if your child is like really emotional, in an emotional stage in their lives and or fearful, um, it doesn't mean they're always going to be fearful. I've worked with so many children with anxiety, and I've been able to help them get through and feel powerful. And it is also changing the way we think of them, that just because they're shy doesn't mean they're going to be shy their whole lives, right? They are in a process of learning and growing every day. So we have to put our fears in check and we have to replace them with empowering thoughts of ourselves and of our kids. And remind yourself that our children are always growing and changing. Like I said, they're always growing and changing. Now is not forever. They will get through difficult times in their life and they're going to grow and get stronger. Okay, and that's it. Parents, you know, I'm going to stop the video now. So if there's any questions, then I'm happy to answer any of your questions. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, parents, for joining the show today. I hope it was valuable and that you have some useful tools to use with your children. If this show blessed you or changed you in any way, I would appreciate a review on my podcast, or subscribe to my YouTube channel, or perhaps you could even recommend our masterful parenting to your family and friends. Thank you so much, parents.